This is Larry Page talking to you from Vancouver with reference to the Southern Silver Exploration Corporation, and very exciting news with reference to its silver property, which is located in Durango, Mexico. What I'd like to do today is discuss the news release. It uses the word Bonanza. That's a work of art, and I don't think it's in a geological handbook, but in the industry, if you use Bonanza, you better have the mojo to back it up. We do. We've got 2,040 grams per ton of silver equivalent. That is Bonanza. Now, where does this lead us with reference to this company? The grade and volume of the ore is very, very relevant, because any miner is going to look at it and say, how deep is it? Can I access it? And so you talk about what the CapEx is, capital expenditures, the OpEx is, the operating expenditures, what's the mine life? How has Southern Silver advanced its position by this series of drillings that it's done? Moving operations from the east side, from the west side to the east side. And why did we do that? Well, this news release tells you why. It tells you that the results demonstrate the continued exploration potential of these targets, but also the clear potential to identify the critical mass of mineralization necessary to support a mining scenario. And the material tells you that independent analysis, which has been published, shows that the property has 272 million silver equivalent ounces. That's an awful lot of metal, and it's all contained on the west side of the Minitas, the mountain. So what does this tell you? It tells you that management decided to say, how big can this claim block be? What's it going to cost to explore it? And how is it going to change the fundamentals of what we already know, that there's a viable mine on the property? We have mineralization which is close to the surface, and it's Bonanza grade. It has metals which are in demand, and there's more there. So we say we're going to do at least another 10,000 meters of drilling. It's interesting, I think, to take a little walk down memory lane. And so if you'll allow me, I'd like to tell you about some of the past companies that I've been involved with, which have made mines. And what I say that the similarity is to their discovery holes in relation to hole 131. I call hole 131 a game changer because it's high grade, it's close to the surface. Many years ago, when I was a bit younger, I was involved with a company called Corona, and it discovered a mine in Hemlo, Ontario, which became the richest gold mine in Canada. The analogy of that, I'm going to talk about that. And then Eskay Creek, I was involved with a company called Calpine. It discovered a tremendously rich mine in British Columbia. And then we go to Mexico, and Western Silver discovered the biggest mine in Mexico. It's called Penasquito. So when I was pondering last night as to what I should say to you folks, I thought, well, what's the commonality here? And I always like to remember the discovery holes. Hemlo was hole 76. Eskay Creek was hole 109. Penasquito was hole 112. And here we have hole 131. What does that tell you? It tells you that tenacity is needed. The analogy between these four discovery holes on these four famous mines is that in each case, the geologist said, I'm developing a nice ore body here, but where do I go now? In the case of Hemlo, the first 75 holes were dusters. there was no mineral there. That geologist took a leap of faith and he went somewhere else and he thought, I'll start exploring here. And of course, that led not only to this mine, but to two others in the area when they followed the same type of theory as to the rock. Eskay Creek, they're up to hole 108. That was the huge discovery hole that made Eskay Creek the richest mine in North America at the time. Penasquito, I talked to Tom Patton, the discoverer of Penasquito last night, a tremendous geologist and a good friend. And I said, Tom, what's the discovery hole? And he said, well, it was hole 112. We went to a totally different area. Hole 112 was 160 meters of 8 grams gold and 51 grams silver. It became the biggest mine in Mexico and it's still operating. So what's the commonality of all of this is don't be constrained by just drilling in one area where you've got some mineralization. We made the decision to go over to the east side of the Cerro. We're going to drill it out, and we think that we're going to find very rich mineralization 300 feet below the surface, which induces the mining engineer to say, I have to change my thinking. Over here, we may have an open pit. So where we are now with this mineralization and how we can develop it, it's a game changer. That's why we say Bonanza. Each news release will tell you it's in a good jurisdiction, all the matters that I've said before, but it also tells you that this may change the prospective mining method. It'll make the property so much more valuable. That's what we're doing. This year, 2021, is going to be a great year for Southern Silver. If you have grades of that caliber located in a good jurisdiction next to an existing resource, you're onto something. Thank you for listening to me, and thanks the Otis and Mandy Group for giving me the opportunity to present to you.